I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Wurrung people as the traditional owners of the land where this recording was made. Over the past few months, I've been walking through reserves around Melbourne, Naarm, and recording conversations along the way. I've met with traditional owners and First Nations peoples, conservationists, ecologists, and others who've chosen a place that matters to them. We walk and talk about nature, what lives there, what's changed, and what needs protecting. You'll hear our footsteps, the wind in the trees, the birds overhead, and the city not too far away. This is Finding Melbourne's Nature. Not far from Melbourne, around 55 kilometres east of the CBD, is the Yellingbo Nature Conservation Area. It's part of the Lyric Barring Conservation Landscape, and it covers around 600 hectares. It's a landscape of forests and swamps and winding creek lines, surrounded by farmland and the communities of the Yarra Valley. And within this landscape, there are two critically endangered species: the lowland population of the Leadbeater's Possum and the Helmeted Honeyeater, Victoria's bird emblem. The two species share the same swamp forest habitat here at Yellingbo, and both have been the focus of decades of conservation work. Today, we're going to be following the story of the Helmeted Honeyeater. It's a striking bird, bright yellow with a black mask on its face and a small tuft of feathers on its head that forms its helmet. Keeping the Helmeted Honeyeater in the landscape has involved an extraordinary effort over many years. Habitat restoration, predator management, captive breeding, genetic rescue, monitoring and supplementary feeding have all played a part. And behind that work is an enormous collaboration involving DECA, Zoos Victoria, Parks Victoria, Melbourne Water, researchers, volunteers, neighbouring landholders, and the Friends of the Helmeted Honeyeater, amongst many others. And there's one person whose name has become almost synonymous with the recovery of this bird. Bruce Quin is a senior ornithologist who first began working with the Helmeted Honeyeater in August 1993. When we recorded this walk, he was in his 33rd year of working with the species. Bruce is something of a legend in this field. He spent decades getting to know these birds, their habitat, and quite literally, the individual Helmeted Honeyeaters. And today, I'm following him on his rounds through Yellingbo, walking from one supplementary feeding station to another. With such a small and intensely managed population, supplementary feeding provides the birds with an additional resource of food alongside what they naturally find in the landscape. These stations also give Bruce and others working with the population an opportunity to see the birds as they turn up. The Helmeted Honeyeaters here are individually colour-banded, allowing them to identify individual birds, observe their health and behaviour, and follow what's happening with the population. So in this episode, we're going to follow Bruce on his rounds. We'll walk the creek lines and swamp forest, stop at feeding stations, listen for birds, and watch for those coloured leg bands. Along the way, we'll hear the extraordinary effort to keep the Helmeted Honeyeater in the landscape, and some of what Bruce has learned from more than 3 decades of working with this species. But first, I wanted to know how someone ends up dedicating so much of their life to one of Australia's rarest birds. So I asked Bruce where his interest in birds first began.
I think it would have been in our early teens. We were certainly members of the Gould League.
You and your brother, is this fair?
Yes, Mum and Dad introduced us to that, and I think it was the Tiny Tips tea, wasn't it, that we used to have cards.
Yeah.
And then as time progressed, we, both Darren and I, and my twin brother who works for BirdLife Australia, we were interested in certainly natural history in general.
Yep.
If anything, we're both a bit more interested in the mammal side of things, but then during my my honours and masters, I chose projects that the then Victorian National Parks Service felt needed doing, and so it was emus initially in the Grampians, which was a lot of fun, and sorting through emu poo
yes.
to see what they'd been eating. and some habitat selection work, I guess, or habitat use work.
Yep.
But then my master's was on the turquoise parrot, which I had an absolute ball doing. It was a conservation orientated project, getting data which would help manage its breeding and feeding requirements, and a little bit on unplanned, but also their nocturnal roosting requirements, which we found a number of nocturnal roosts which we started to realise they were using, and so that was great. And toward the end of that year, that thesis I meant to say, I got my banding licence, and
wow,
and that was working on zebra finches, a job which was very good for getting me ready for this job. A lot of hands-on colour banding, egg measuring, morphometrics of birds, nest monitoring. It was really good to get me sort of trained up for this job as well. It wasn't a conservation project, that one. It was more about proving laboratory studies still held in the wild for zebra finches. So zebra finches are, I don't see them much. I don't go to places where I see them much, but they're sort of close to my heart as well, I guess.
I can imagine. They're beautiful birds.
Yeah, they are.
Bruce explained to me a little bit about the start of the Lyric Barring Conservation Area.
But the Lyric Barring program was really the brainchild of a former president of the Friends of the Helmeted Honeyeater, Bob Anderson, and also Jeff Latter, who's an environmental consultant, and putting a proposal to having all crown land along creeks and creeks and rivers and within this area, I suppose the mid-Yarra, I suppose we'd call it, become
consolidated,
conservation orientated rather than grazing or land, for instance. So, and that's what Lyric Barring's doing, and converting all those parcels of land to have a conservation orientation. Stock removal and fencing, revegetation, and that'll create corridors for helmeted honeyeaters, but also other species to move along, and also creating habitat to larger parcels of land where, say, helmeted honeyeaters, and for that matter, the lowland leadbeaters possum can sort of permanently occupy. They get connected as well, and the work that we do here in Yellingbo, or all the habitat restoration by those organisations, plus Lyric Barring is helping a multitude of species, as well as the plants themselves and the plant communities, and but faunal species as well. So it was a wonderful concept by Bob and Jeff, and which led to the Lyric Barring program. So.
And two critically endangered species here sharing the same habitat in isolated populations that used to occur further around Melbourne. Is it all related to the habitat that's here?
Well, yes, it is, yeah. So, and Dan Harley from Zoos, Dr. Dan Harley
amazing
from Zoos
guy.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Yes, he's so Dan did his PhD on the lowland leadbeaters possums here, they're mostly confined within the reserve to the the sedge-rich Eucalyptus camphora swamp community.
Yeah.
Helmeted honeyeaters use that. That's been the habitat that's been. Unfortunately, a lot of it is in decline, habitat condition decline. Helmeted honeyeaters also use manna gum habitat, and I guess that's what's helped the helmeted honeyeaters out more than the lowland leadbeaters, is they've got the other type of habitat which they can occupy, which has been more stable with respect to its health than the sedge-rich Eucalyptus camphora swamp community.
As the helmeted honeyeater flies, it's not that far from the city here, is it? Really? Like
No, it's not. It's. I think we're about. It's something like 55 kilometres from
yeah,
the CBD,
which is amazing. Oh yeah.
Zib. I thought I could hear begging. Whereabouts? Oh.
Just straight up. I just flew over here. See? Yeah. Yep.
Oh wow.
We're straight on to Helmeted Honeyeaters.
Yes, I'd say if we walk to the station, they'll come to the station. So just down here.
We're now looking at 4 Helmeted Honeyeaters on a branch.
Gosh.
Absolutely wonderful.
Hopefully
is that pretty common?
Pretty common. Critically endangered, but we've got a little group who are hopefully following us. Are they following us? We don't know if they know about this new station, so we'll just keep walking, hoping they'll follow us to the new station.
So you recognise that call so well?
Yes, it was. They were doing a corroboree. Oh, actually, there's a bird down here, I think. Yep, they were waiting for us.
Okay.
Yes.
So they do corroborees, did you say?
Yeah, corroboree is sort of like a social greeting, and where there's wing quivering, the soft, well, I call it a chip call.
Yep.
And also, here it is here, Ben, so here we go. So,
as we've filled that up, birds have suddenly appeared. I get a massive thrill, even though I've seen them a few times, I still get a thrill out of it, do you?
You do, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
Yes, I'll never ever stop getting a thrill and a privilege out of seeing them.
So when you feed them, you then observe, do you? And
Yes,
try and...
we're not only looking at the birds for their health,
Yep.
any injuries or illnesses, but we're also looking at the leg bands, because each one is individually colour banded, so they are an individual to us. And
So you know all the birds at an individual level?
yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Yeah, and for most of them, we know their origins, so we know their pedigree, and we call it the genotype, whether they're a full-blooded helmeted honeyeater or whether there's some genetic variability being added by the genetic rescue program. That's using yellow-tufted honeyeater, Gippslandicus subspecies genes. So.
These ones that we're seeing here today, have they been released here, or are they wild birds?
It's probably a mixture of both, but because they haven't stayed, haven't quite identified their leg bands. But I think if we go to the station down here,
Sure.
we'll hopefully we might actually get a closer look at them, or a longer look, so that we can actually see the leg bands. So.
Is there any difference in the call between the Gippslandica and the...
Not really, no. Yeah. Maybe if you put it on a sonogram there might be something slightly different, but to my ears it is the same.
Yeah, okay. Just up here there's a sort of mid-canopy.
Okay. Yeah, so that's good to know that they're using these new stations.
Is it trial and error when you put a new station out, or do you sort of work out a specific...
In the appropriate habitat with dense shrubbery, so that there's protection for them when they're going to a station, or if they need to flush because of danger, they've got something to go to, close cover to go to.
So can you recognise all the bird calls that are happening at the moment?
Yeah, I'd like to think I could recognise most of them very readily. Every now and then there's certainly some that I have to think a little bit about. And that's one of the helmeted honeyeaters calling now. Mm. Yeah, but we've got white-eared honeyeaters calling. There was a bell miner calling a bit earlier on, which was a little bit of a worry, because we know if their numbers build up, they can displace helmeted honeyeaters because of them being territorial and aggressive.
So they're actually a threat, are they, in a way?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Is the helmeted honeyeater the one that goes jit 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 jit, that one, or is that?
Yeah, that was the alarm call. Just did happen then, but there's a harsh call which is said to be was described as being TSUP, sup. To my ears, it's more like a chup.
Yeah.
That's the sort of like a contact call. We heard the soft chip calls of the corroboree when we first got here.
Is it the only bird that has a corroboree as a collective?
No, actually, New Holland honeyeaters and also noisy miners have corroborees. In some ways, the behaviour of the helmeted honeyeater, or in many ways, I should say, the behaviour of the helmeted honeyeater is very similar to noisy miner behaviour as well. The corroboree, the bill gaping during aggression, the nest flight displays that helmeted honeyeaters sometimes do, not always, but noisy miners are quite often do the display where they're almost flying, the body is almost at 45 degrees rather than being, say, horizontal. Right. Helmeted honeyeaters do it at times too. So,
three helmeted honeyeaters have just emerged.
Are they here? There's one there. Is the other two?
There's three over here and one there.
Okay, let's hope they all come down. I'm not trying to.
Oh, we've got four now.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Can you think of a good way to describe them? They're kind of a medium-sized bird, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, I'd say medium. They're obviously not as small as thornbills, but they're but big. They're not as big as a blackbird. But you can see this dense shrubbery.
Yep.
Which is prickly currant bush is really good for them in terms of cover, nesting in, and also the berries are eaten as eaten when they're the red berries. So.
Do you think they've become so endangered because a lot of that sort of habitat's been lost that look like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's being streamside and swamp habitat. It's prime sort of grazing agricultural land, and so a lot of it's been cleared across the former range of the helmeted honeyeater, and and even within Yellingbo, even though it's a reserve, we're seeing the impacts, channelization of the creeks, and planting of pasture grasses in the past, and that's causing big issues within the actual swamp habitat because it needs a particular regime to survive and regenerate itself. We're actually seeing dieback, in fact since 1992 there's been dieback happening within the swamp habitat. This manna gum, and it's the mountain swamp gum habitat, which is regarded as nationally significant, sedge-rich eucalyptus camphora swamp habitat, whereas what we're in now is more your classic streamside habitat, dominated by manna gum, Eucalyptus viminalis. There's some swamp gum, and in lower lying depression areas there's also some mountain swamp gum. Within Yellingbo, the manna gum habitat has been far more stable, as in the condition of it. Has been far more stable than the mountain swamp gum habitat. Yes, which needs a particular flooding regime to survive and regenerate itself. Too much or too little water leads to habitat condition decline.
And where did they used to occur? Where was the former extent?
The former range was West Gippsland and north to Healesville, and then west to Lilydale, and then the sort of the southwest corner of the range was the sort of the upper Beaconsfield Berwick area. Yeah. So, but now there's only really, this is the last naturally occurring population, but heavily managed to keep it going and to build the numbers, and also to add genetic diversity. Zoos Victoria manage a population in the Yarra Ranges National Park area, and also recreating a population in the Cardinia Creek area, as in the release of birds from captivity in early May this year. So that's in its very early stages though, and releases from captivity will happen there next autumn. Yeah, so there's really only 3 areas that they now occur in the wild. Yellingbo, the last naturally occurring population, and then 2 recreated populations. Ash Wednesday really led to the demise of the cockatoo and Upper Beaconsfield populations.
So they held in right up until Ash Wednesday in '83.
Yes, they were still at both Cockatoo and Upper Beaconsfield.
So how many birds are left in the wild now?
Yeah, so we feel there's about, it will be, if you add the 3 populations together, it's still only about 230 birds.
Yeah, right.
So...
and that's global population, that's everything.
Yes, in the wild.
In the wild, yep.
And then there's the captive population, which is where the genetic rescue was initiated in captivity via the crossing of the 2 subspecies.
Yes.
And then birds were released out here and then into that Yarra Ranges area that I was talking about, and also in our Cardinia Creek. Here we go, we've got birds
right next to us.
Around to us.
And that shows the call well. So now just putting in the wombaroo, is it?
Yeah, this is the wombaroo, the honeyeater and lorikeet mixture.
Yep.
Which it's obviously got sugars in it, but it's also got vitamins and oops, sorry.
It's flying right up to your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, we might
get out of here.
Step back again and just. These 2 birds in there are 2022 release birds. The one that's begging, because he's more subordinate, is a 2025 release bird. The one that's
wow.
left at the station. Ooh.
So that's a begging call, is it?
Yes, yeah.
And is he saying, please let me get some food?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's acting submissive and hoping to reduce the aggression.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's a goshawk calling. That's why the alarm calls of, and that bird suddenly started to.
Would they prey on a helmeted honeyeater?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
The need for the Gippslandicus, the genetic rescue, is because the current he-ho population doesn't have enough genetics.
Yeah, there was inbreeding depression, so we're trying to reverse that by adding genetic diversity, by adding Gippslandicus genes to the helmeted honeyeater population.
And if you didn't do that, would they just bottleneck and go extinct?
Absolutely, yeah. And an easy way to think of it is that the most inbred birds were only producing about a tenth of the number of fledglings across their lifespan as the most genetically diverse helmeted honeyeaters were.
Gotcha.
So that's the effect the inbreeding was having. So that was within the helmeted honeyeater population pre-genetic rescue, which commenced here in September 2019, when captive bred birds and Gippslandicus were released into Yellingbo.
Bruce taught me a little bit about how plants and insects form part of the diet of the helmeted honeyeater.
Insects can create sugary exudates.
Yep.
The lerp, the sugary coating on the larvae of those psyllid insects, they're called, the family of psyllid insects. The honeydew, which my understanding is it's a waste product from an insect that's again been taking eucalypt phloem sap, and then there's the manna, which we see them use from manna gums, swamp gums, mountain swamp gums. There's sort of this little secretion produced in response to insect attack. So,
So it's like a dripping of sap sort of thing, is it?
Yes, yeah. It's a reasonably viscous liquid.
Yeah.
That I've sampled it myself. I can see why the honeyeaters like it. It's nice
pretty good,
and
is it?
sweet. Yeah. Yeah. So,
is there a future market in manna?
There could well be. Yeah.
As we search through the habitat, I asked Bruce how low did the numbers get for the helmeted honeyeater.
60 on 2 separate occasions. Yeah. So here we go. We're through here, through the dense shrubbery or the classic nesting habitat.
It's quite tucked away, this one.
So dense shrubbery is needed for their, really needed, at least here at Yellingbo. Well, I suppose anywhere, but it works well here because of it conceals the nests. 60 birds. Earlier, Bruce told us that there's now around 230 helmeted honeyeaters living in the wild across 3 populations. They're still critically endangered, but it's a remarkable example of what can happen when a species is given the attention and care it needs. Recovering a species from numbers that low takes habitat, science, resources, and an enormous number of people working together over many years. But Bruce has been at the heart of that story for more than 3 decades. So much of what we understand about the helmeted honeyeater and what it takes to bring a species back from the brink has been built through years of work by Bruce. And that knowledge matters beyond Yellingbo. What has been learned here about habitat, genetics, breeding, monitoring, and other things can help inform how we think about threatened species around Melbourne, and more broadly, how we respond to other species that are facing extinction. That makes Bruce's contribution much bigger than one bird. It's knowledge built over a lifetime that can continue to help conservation long into the future. But at the end of the day, it was time to say goodbye to Bruce and thank him for his time. You're most welcome, Ben. It's been a privilege to be interviewed by you and have you accompany me and see the habitat and the birds yes, I'm just thrilled that I've been able to have today and show you today what we've been doing but also talk about the program.
Well, that's it. An amazing time spent with the legendary Bruce Quin. We even got to see a fledgling as part of our walks, which was wonderful to see and a tribute to all the hard work that Bruce has put in. Shortly after recording this episode, Bruce retired. After his long career looking after helmeted honeyeaters, he decided to take a break, but is still spending lots of time working with helmeted honeyeaters and being part of the supplementary feeding program. If you're interested in hearing more stories like this, please check out findingmelbournesnature.com or check us out on your favourite streaming services. It's been such a delight to bring you these stories, and I'm keen to hear what you feel about them and where you think I should head next. Thank you so much, and I really hope you enjoyed listening to Bruce.